Tim Tszyu. I mean, really, what is there to say about this guy at this point? I mean, he comes out there in his last fight against Tony Harrison and stops the only man to beat the champion in the division. Stops the only man to beat Charlo. Now, I get it. Charlo had come back and already avenged that loss, but still, we got to look at that and we got to say, what's that say about Tim Tszyu? Then he comes out there in this fight, and he's a big favorite going in, and everybody expects him to come out with a win. But let's be honest with each other. How many amongst us expected this dude to go out here and get an impressive victory like this? How many amongst us expected him to go out there and just blow the doors off Ocampo? I mean, because that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about in the first round, he goes out and just immediately unleashes these power punches. Now, we know what Tim Tszyu brings to the table going in. We knew that he's coming in and that he is a power puncher. He can come in and he can punch with some ferocity. And we just saw more of it. We just saw him continue to build on that. You know, one of the big talking points coming in was why Tszyu was even taking this fight. Like, you're the number one contender. You're the next guy in line. You've got the ability. You've got the potential to go out here and snatch up all the belts. You're already in line to do it. You are the next man. All you got to do is sit and wait. Right? The champion's over here. He's got 2 fractures in his hands. As soon as he gets this thing settled, boom, we're going to make this fight happen. You go out here and you do anything. You fight anybody else, and you always have the potential to mess that up. Got the potential to lose. He goes out there in this fight against Ocampo. He drops the ball. He comes up short. And that fight with Charlo does not materialize. And who knows how long it's going to be before something like that happens again. Our Charlo's going to stay busy. Who knows? Potentially he loses the belt. The belts get split up. Something crazy happens. I mean, you're talking about a lot here. You could be talking years down the line. It would not be the first time to see a boxing career derailed for 2 to 3 years because of one loss. But Tszyu was like, look, that's not my game at all. I come out here, I'm a fighter. This is what I want to do. I want to stay active. I want to beat people. I want to fight on my home turf. I want to fight in front of a home crowd. The chance doesn't worry me at all. I'm much more concerned with staying active. I'm much more concerned with getting this momentum rolling. And that's exactly what we saw, man. We saw a guy come out there with supreme confidence, blow the doors off his opponent, just continue to build the momentum and set the stage. Impressive. Now, look, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. It was interesting. Now, it was interesting in his last fight, when he did what he did to Harrison, they interviewed Charlo immediately afterwards. And they were like, hey, what do you think? And he was, of course, he was immediately very dismissive of what Tszyu was bringing to the table. He said, we know that he's a power puncher, but he moves in straight lines and he doesn't move his head and he's not defensively responsible and he's not going to be able to do this, and this. And, he doesn't have the hand speed and all of these things. And I'm going to be able to tear this dude up. It's not going to be tough. It's not going to be a tough task for me. I'm going to be able to go out there and do what I do. I'm the champion. Now, I fully expect that when he watches this fight, he's going to feel the exact same way. I mean, there's a reason Charlo feels the way that he does. And when we look at the one fight where he had some real trouble, which was the one against Tony Harrison, it was the movement. It was the educated left hand. It was the jab and the ability of Harrison to control the distance and the timing and slip individual shots and then come in on angles and do things that made it difficult. Even in the rematch, we saw more of that. Except, Charlo was eventually able to track him down and land that left hook. Tszyu brings a whole different set of skills to the game. When we see what Tim Tszyu does, he's a power puncher primarily, and the way that he works his craft, very high technical skill. He's very good at what he does, but it's far different than the type of game that we see Tony Harrison bring to the table. So, man, I can't wait to see that fight. You know what I mean? That's one that's going to be very interesting. One of the things obviously that Tim Tszyu has going for him is the fact that we're going to see Charlo coming back off an injury. The fact that we're going to see him coming back off a period of inactivity, not necessarily the easiest thing in the world to come back. And Tim Tszyu has got all the momentum in the world, all the confidence. He's going to be going out there, with the belief that he can punch through a brick wall. So it'll be interesting to see, when that fight develops. I know he said he was looking. I want to say that there's a mandate that they said they have to do it before September 30th. So they're hoping to get it done by that point, which will just be absolutely great. Right? I mean, we are seeing some phenomenal fights this year as boxing fans. We are really getting some good ones, highlighted by the out of control massive fight July 29th, Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. The fights that we've already had, like Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia, Vasily Lomachenko versus Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez versus Josh Taylor. Now we're looking at, for all intents and purposes, we should be getting Tszyu versus Charlo before September 30th. I mean, man, these are some good ones, right? I mean, we are really getting a lot of fights that we would have been hoping to see. So good stuff here. We didn't get to see Tszyu out for the longest night tonight, practicing his craft. I'm not even sure that he broke a sweat, but let me know what you guys think. What do you think about what he did tonight? What do you think about him taking this fight and staying active? How do you think his skills are going to match up against Charlo?